Discover how a new Maid's incredible touch helped this millionaire's son walk after 17 years. In the affluent suburbs of Maplewood, Alex Munroe's life had once been full of promise, brimming with laughter and dreams. Now, at 28, he felt like a ghost in the grand estate he'd grown up in, paralyzed from the waist down after a car accident that stripped him of his potential. Every corner of the house echoed with memories: basketball games in the driveway, family dinners filled with joy, but now it stood as a luxurious prison, holding him captive in his despair. His mother, a woman forged by hard work and unwavering determination, often stood disappointed in him, questioning how her son, born into privilege, could falter when faced with adversity. Then came Maria, a spirited woman from Guatemala, full of life and enthusiasm. The moment she entered Alex's world as the new maid, she transformed the stagnant air around him. One sunny morning, Maria found Alex aimlessly tossing a basketball against the wall. His frustration was palpable, each thud a reminder of what he had lost. With a gentle smile, she stepped forward and spoke. "Dreams don't vanish. They just change shape. You once loved to run. Let us find that spirit again." Her words slipped through his defenses, stirring something deep within him. In time, whispers spread through the neighborhood about their unique bond. Neighbors who had once mingled in mere pleasantries began leaving homemade meals at his door, their compassion warming the coldness that had settled in. Maria's hope was infectious, her laughter a balm to his weary soul. The more time they spent together, the more Alex felt the flicker of possibility reigniting. Could he really reclaim his life? Yet, this connection drew a line in the sand with his family, especially his mother, who saw Maria's influence as a threat to everything she had instilled in him. As Thanksgiving approached, Alex found himself caught in turmoil. He considered reaching out for help, but not the kind his mother touted. Rehabilitation programs steeped in luxury promised miracles that felt hollow. Would he be chasing shortcuts, or could he, with Maria's encouragement, muster the grit to embark on a road fraught with challenges? One stormy evening, under the flickering glow of a family photo he could scarcely bear to look at, he said it aloud, "I just want my life back." The confession left a heaviness in the air. Maria's eyes softened, and she leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "What if you have to fight for it? Your power is in rising, not just falling." The intensity of her words hung like a challenge, echoing in the silence between them. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In that moment of shared understanding, something shifted. Alex stared at her, feeling a rush of emotions swell within him. Could he really lean into this fight? His future was no longer just about escaping the expectations of wealth, but about building a new foundation rooted in resilience, with the community rallying behind him as well. Hope wasn't just a distant dream. It was right in front of him, illuminating a path he hadn't dared to imagine. Would he take the leap of faith Maria inspired in him, or would the weight of expectation crush his spirit once more? Whatever the choice, one thing was certain: the battle for his heart and soul was only just beginning. The morning sun broke through the clouds, casting warm rays across the Munroe estate. For the first time in years, Alex felt the slightest urge to rise from the confines of his chair and embrace the day. Maria's words from the night before clung to him. "Your power is in rising," they echoed in his mind as if they were a gentle yet persistent drumbeat, urging him to move. Maria entered the room, wiping her hands on a dish towel, her hair dancing in the light just as her spirit did. "What's on your mind, Alex?" she asked, her eyes glimmering with encouragement. He glanced at her, unsure about sharing the depth of his feelings. But today was different. The familiar weight of his despair felt a little lighter. "I think I want to try something," he finally said, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. The words hung in the air, almost like a promise, both to himself and to Maria. Her face lit up, eyes wide with pure excitement. Really? What do you have in mind? Maybe some physical therapy. The kind that actually challenges me. Not the gold-plated programs that my mom talks about, he replied. It felt as though he was shedding layers of his old self, the defeated Alex who had buried himself in the safety of inertia. That's amazing. Maria's infectious enthusiasm swirled around him, and for the first time, he didn't feel fear about stepping into a new journey. He felt the stirrings of hope, the kind that ignited courage. As they sat in the living room brainstorming strategies, Alex could see the outline of a plan forming between them. Maria suggested finding a local clinic where she could accompany him. The thought of some place new sounded terrifying yet exhilarating. Each step toward recovery painted a brighter picture of what could be a future filled with movement, laughter, and perhaps, the chance to be part of a community once more. Their planning session was interrupted by the sudden ringing of the doorbell. Alex's mother entered the room, her heels clicking against the polished floor, a sharp contrast to the joyful atmosphere Maria and Alex had created. Tension spiraled through him, but he was resolved. Alex, the florist, just delivered those centerpieces for Thanksgiving. Have you given any thought to? She halted mid-sentence, appraising the two of them. What's happening here? She asked, her tone clipped. Her gaze darted between Alex and Maria, a question lingering. Alex had known this moment would come, and as uncomfortable as it felt, he had to stand his ground. Mom, Maria and I were just talking about therapy, something that could really help me, he said, his voice firm. His mother's expression shifted from curiosity to disapproval. Therapy? Like those expensive programs I've arranged? You can't be serious. You're not going to waste time with her ideas. Her gesture was dismissive, an effort to knock down the hope that was growing. Excuse me, but Maria understands me in ways you don't. A swell of emotion surged within him. I'm tired of feeling trapped, of just existing. I want to live again. Silence enveloped the room, thick and heavy. Maria sensed the moment, her hand unconsciously reaching toward Alex's as if offering strength. He held on tightly. His mother's fierce gaze softened for just a moment as the words sunk in. This was a battle for more than freedom. It was a battle for respect, for acknowledgement. Alex, she began, but he interrupted her. No more shortcuts, Mom. If you can't support me in this, I don't know how we move forward. The moment hung in the air, suspended between love and desperation. Would his mother embrace this new path he was forging, or would she cling to her safety net of expectations? As the chill settled back in the space, Alex couldn't shake the growing sense that this was just the beginning of a much larger confrontation. The path to reclaiming his life would be long and fraught with resistance, not just from his own past but from his family. And yet, hope flickered brighter than ever, igniting a fierce determination in his heart. What would be his mother's next move, and could he stand firm in the face of familial opposition? The battle was on, and both love and fury lay at the center of it all. The air felt electric, charged with unspoken words and raw emotions. Alex's heart raced as he caught a glimpse of uncertainty in his mother's eyes. He had pushed her to the edge, but he refused to back down. The silence stretched, each second expanding the heaviness in the room. She finally crossed her arms, her lips thinning into a tight line. This isn't a game, Alex. You need to understand that. What do you know about therapy? It's all unproven. I know enough to realize I'm done with being the person everyone wants me to be. He shot back, a mix of frustration and resolution fueling his voice. Maria's hand tightened around his, offering a lifeline. Her presence acted as a steady hand on the edge of chaos. Maybe what you've arranged, Mom, isn't really working, Alex continued, hoping to pierce through her steel exterior. Maybe it's time to hear what I want. He didn't want to frame it as a battle. This felt more like a necessary awakening, a loud declaration in the name of self-care. I can't believe you're throwing everything I've done for you away, his mother replied, her voice cracking slightly, revealing a chink in her armor. No, I'm trying to build something new, he said, softer now. The vulnerability of his confession settled into the air between them. If you love me, you'll trust me enough to try this. Her eyes flared, the fear of losing control over her son dancing dangerously close to anger. Alex could feel the tension almost as a physical barrier, pulsing and ready to burst. Trust doesn't come easy, she replied, the sharpness in her tone still lingering. But there was a hint of confusion, maybe even fear, beneath it all. Before he could respond, Maria spoke, her voice gentle but firm. What if we give him the chance to show what he can do? There is so much potential here, and he deserves to find it. Her gaze held his mother's, steady and sincere. Potential? His mother scoffed, but even she seemed to flinch at the truth of the word. You might just be playing with his hopes. I can't just sit back and wait for my life to happen. Mom, Alex interjected, fighting to get through to her. I've waited too long. Something in her demeanor shifted slightly. The battle within her played out on her features, love tangled with years of fear for her son's well-being. The memories of countless past therapies that had never brought the change she so desperately sought, weighed heavily on her. And then it happened, a moment of vulnerability broke through. What if it doesn't work? She whispered, eyes shimmering with unshed tears, each syllable seeping doubt. It can't get worse than where I am, he replied, his voice low but resolute. At least I'll be trying. This is just as much for you as it is for me. To know I gave it my all. Her expression softened just a fraction, and in that small shift, Alex sensed a crack in her defenses. Maybe, just maybe he had found a way to reach her. The silence in the room took on a new tone, heavy with possibility, as Maria squeezed his hand reassuringly. Let us find a place together, she said, breaking the quiet. We can start fresh, and I'll be right by your side. His mother's face flickered with indecision. As much as she wanted to protest, the longing to support her son chipped away at her earlier resolve. Very well, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. But we do this my way. Alex felt a surge of emotion. It wasn't entirely what he wanted, but it was a step forward. Every step counts, Mom, he replied, a grin breaking through as hope surged once more. And just like that, the first page turned. It wouldn't be easy, but maybe this was the beginning of something that could lead him toward reclaiming not only his body but his relationship with his mother as well. As sunlight spilled brighter through the windows, illuminating the room in a warm glow, Alex couldn't help but wonder. What new challenges awaited them? Would this fragile agreement hold when faced with the realities and trials of therapy? The commitment was just a first step, but it felt monumental. The morning still loomed ahead, yet uncertainty lingered in the air, tightly woven with anticipation. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft rays of sunlight filtering through the curtains, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. It was a gentle reminder of the new day ahead. He could feel the weight of the previous day's conversation still lingering in the back of his mind. But something had shifted. An early sense of excitement and determination bubbled inside him. Breakfast was quiet. His mother's gaze flitted to him over the coffee cup, eyes still clouded but less guarded. She was trying to process their agreement, and Alex couldn't help but think how different this felt, almost like he could breathe a bit easier. Maria was busy clearing the table, the soft clatter of dishes grounding them both. Are you ready? Maria turned to him, a bright smile on her face, and Alex felt an electric pulse of encouragement. More than ready, he replied, surprising himself. His heart quickened with resolve. Today was going to be the start of something, he could feel it. No backing out, remember? His mother said, attempting a teasing tone that didn't quite mask her lingering worry. Alex just nodded, his pulse quickening at the thought of therapy. The fear of the unknown loomed large, but the prospect of change was larger still. They piled into Maria's old car, the familiar hum of the engine washing over them. As they pulled out onto the road, Alex's fingers drummed against the seat. The world outside flew by, and with every passing tree, anxiety ebbed, replaced by a growing sense of hope. Maria was cracking jokes, her laughter a soothing balm, rather like the first rays of dawn dispelling the shadows of night. They pulled up in front of the therapy center. It looked unassuming, almost like a regular house. But Alex knew it was filled with people ready to help him. He swallowed hard, uncertainty creeping back. "Remember what we talked about," Maria said, squeezing his hand. "You won't be alone." His mother hesitated before exiting the car. "Let us just take it one step at a time," she murmured, almost to herself but loud enough for Alex to catch. He nodded, appreciating her effort to hold back the motherly fears swirling in her heart. Inside, the air was cool and calming. The faint scent of essential oils filled the space, and soft music played in the background. A friendly receptionist greeted them, and Alex felt the swell of anxiety ease as he took a seat. He could feel Maria's steady presence beside him, bolstering him. As they waited, a therapist with kind eyes introduced herself. "I'm Emma. I understand you're looking for a fresh start," she said, her smile warm and inviting. "Yeah," he said, fighting the tremor in his voice. "I want to talk about how to move forward." As Emma led them to a cozy room, Alex's heart pounded with every step. He felt both excited and terrified. Therapy hadn't worked before. What made this time different? "Change is tough," Emma said, the understanding in her tone disarming. "But it starts here together." The weight of her words settled heavily, wrapping around him like a blanket. They began to talk, and it felt seamless, like peeling away layers of skin. Before he knew it, they were diving into his fears, his hopes, and his desires. With every question Emma asked, Alex felt exposed yet liberated. Was he really doing this? Was a new life truly within reach? Halfway through the session, he caught a glimpse of his mother, her arms crossed, but her expression softened as she listened intently. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly seen. "Tell me, Alex," Emma asked gently, "what is it that you want most?" He hesitated, the weight of the moment heavy. Then he took a deep breath, letting the words flow out. "I want to walk again, but more than that, I want to live without holding back." It felt monumental, declaring that desire out loud. But what surprised him most was the warmth radiating from his mother. In that instant, he knew he wasn't just fighting for himself, this was for her too. As they continued, Alex felt change looming like a storm, invigorating but uncertain. What would this storm bring? Would he finally grasp the life he always desired? Would his mother step further into this new world by his side? The echoes of their shared vulnerability hung in the air, waiting for the next turning point. The first breakthrough came unexpectedly. As the session progressed, Alex became increasingly aware of how Emma's gentle, guiding questions led him through a maze he thought was impossible to navigate. Today's conversation flowed differently, like a stream carving a path through rock. "What does living without holding back feel like to you?" Emma asked. He watched a flicker of curiosity light up her eyes. It was a simple question, yet overwhelming. He closed his eyes briefly, trying to visualize it. "It feels free," he replied, his voice quieter than before. "Like I could just run, not caring about what others think. Just being me." Emma nodded, absorbing his words like a sponge ready to support his unfolding essence. "And what is stopping you from that freedom right now?" The question landed heavily. He struggled for a reply, his mind drifting to faces, expectations, the creeping shadows of doubt. "Fear, I guess. The fear of failing, of disappointing my mom, of being different." His voice cracked, the truth spilling over the edges he'd worked so hard to hold back. As the knot in his chest tightened, he felt a squeeze on his wrist. He opened his eyes to see his mother's encouraging gaze, shimmering with unshed tears. In that moment, their shared vulnerability ignited something inside him, a flicker of courage. "I feel just as scared," his mother finally spoke up. "But I'm proud of you for trying. Trying brings its own kind of strength." Alex absorbed her words like a lifeline, the room around him fading into a blur. He was conscious of Maria's warmth beside him, the bond creating an invisible shield against his fears. The sensation felt new and intoxicating. Emma smiled, sensing the shift. "Let us break this down. What have you always wanted to do but haven't tried yet?" The answer came with startling clarity. I want to go to the park. I want to feel the grass under my feet. I want to ride a bike again. The final words struck like a bell, ringing in the air with determination. Alex's heart raced. He could picture it laughing with Maria, arms wide as if he could embrace the world, even just for a moment. The electricity tingled in the tips of his fingers. Emma leaned closer, her presence immensely comforting. What if we set some goals? Little steps to that freedom? Yeah, he breathed out, feeling like something had shifted fundamentally. The conversation felt like they were building something together, layer by layer. They laughed, strategized, and began crafting an actual roadmap. Emma directed them, seeing potential where Alex had seen walls. Each goal felt tangible, and as they continued, sections of a past he thought were dead began to flicker back to life. The afternoon slipped away, and soon they arrived at the conclusion of the session. Alex's heart was still racing, but now it felt like a race towards something exciting, not daunting. Emma's final words hung in the air like a promise. Next time we can talk about how to face those fears you have about taking steps forward. What do you think? He looked at his mother, who offered a soft smile of encouragement, and then at Maria, whose nod was filled with unwavering support. I think I want to, he said, a smile breaking across his face, a smile that felt electric. As they left the room, a ripple of anticipation settled in his chest, transforming the earlier uncertainty into cautious excitement. Maybe he could get to the park. Maybe he could truly live. Then Maria suddenly paused at the doorway, her expression changing. Wait, there's something I need to tell you both. Their hearts raced as they turned to face her, filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. What could she be about to share that would turn this hopeful day on its head? Maria took a deep breath, her eyes flitting between Alex and his mother. The air felt thick with anticipation, and Alex's heart drummed in his chest. I've been thinking about this for a while now, she began, her voice trembling slightly, and I wasn't sure how to say it. What is it? Alex asked, the excitement of the last hour now overshadowed by this sudden shift. Maria looked down for a moment, collecting her thoughts. I met someone. His name is David. The name hung in the air, familiar yet strange. He is a therapist, but not like the usual ones. He specializes in alternative therapies. I believe he could help you, Alex. It's a different approach, unconventional, but he understands you in a way I think could work. But what? His mother pressed gently, sensing the weight of the butt hanging in the air. Maria met Alex's gaze, the truth painfully clear in her eyes. But it's not in our town. He works an hour away. I know this might complicate things. It means more travel and time, but Emma interjected softly. Sometimes stepping outside your comfort zone leads to the greatest breakthroughs. But is it worth it? Alex felt the familiar turbulence of doubt swirl within him. The anxiety he thought had begun to fade rushed back, swirling like dark clouds. What if it doesn't work? What if it just makes everything more complicated? Life is complicated, Maria said, her voice steady. But something inside me says that this might be the spark you need. I believe in you. I believe in what you can become. This could be your stepping stone. Alex's mind raced, as images of wheels turning in the sun, the wind against his skin, and rolling lawns filled his head. The park could still be a reality. But the nagging pit of doubt grew. And, if it doesn't work? He asked quietly, vulnerability creeping into his tone. I promise I'll be here for you. Every step, Maria assured him, her eyes glistening with unspoken support. His mother wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. We all will. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their hope pressing against him. Part of him wanted to leap at the chance. Another part feared the fall. But then he remembered Emma's words about creating goals, building a roadmap. What if I give it a shot? He said, testing the words like a child dipping a toe in the water. What if it helps me get to the park? What if I can ride a bike again? That's the spirit. Emma beamed, and a flicker of excitement ignited in the room. But Maria leaned in closer, her expression serious again. David's methods are untested for someone like you. We need to be careful and make sure you're comfortable with the process. Are you prepared to trust him? Trust. The word danced in Alex's mind. It was a heavy burden, but at the same time, it felt light and liberating. I think I can be, he finally replied. At that moment, the vast world ahead of him felt both daunting and exhilarating. The sound of a door opening startled them. A woman stepped in, her presence commanding yet calm. She looked directly at Alex and smiled. Hi there, Alex. I'm David's assistant. He'd like to meet you right now if you're ready. As the moment stretched out between them, Alex felt everything shift. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the chance to take a step toward change. His heart raced with possibility and fear. But was he truly ready for what lay ahead? Did he have the strength to trust again? With a knowing glance at his mother and Maria, he took a step forward, feeling both their encouragement wash over him. What if David holds the key to unlock everything? He wondered as he crossed the threshold. Would the door lead to freedom or deeper questions? A surge of anticipation filled the air, and Alex took a deep breath. Would he find the courage to explore this new path? As he stepped into the office, a sense of warmth enveloped Alex, contrasting the cold uncertainty he felt moments before. The walls were painted a calming shade of blue, adorned with frames that held images of nature, mountains, rivers, wildflowers. It felt like a new beginning, almost inviting him to unwind. Alex, this is David, the assistant said, gesturing toward a man seated in a cozy armchair. David looked up, his eyes sparkling with kindness. He had a soft smile, one that spoke of patience and understanding. It's great to finally meet you. Hi, Alex replied, his voice barely above a whisper, an unexpected wave of nerves washing over him as he felt scrutinized under David's gaze. Why don't you take a seat? David motioned, his tone gentle yet firm. As Alex settled into the chair opposite, he could feel the gravity of this moment pressing down on him. This was the start of something significant, but the weight of expectation loomed. I've heard a lot about you, David began, his voice soothing like a balm. I want you to know that this is a safe space. You can talk about anything here. Alex nodded, half listening as David explained his unconventional methods. The way he described tapping into hidden emotions, exploring fears through guided imagery, felt both intriguing and terrifying. I know it sounds different, but we'll work at your pace, he added, refining Alex's worry of rushing into the unknown. Do you have any questions for me? David asked, leaning in a bit. Alex swallowed hard, his mind spinning. Will it really help? The vulnerability coated his question, and he felt exposed under the bright overhead lights. David's gaze softened. Healing isn't always straightforward, but it starts with trust. So, let us take small steps together. What's your biggest dream? The question pierced through Alex's defenses. He hesitated, the familiar image of riding a bike in the park creeping into his mind. I want to ride my bike again, he murmured, fighting back the swell of emotions that threatened to spill over. And what's stopping you? David asked, his interest genuine. Fear? Alex exhaled, a lump forming in his throat. Fear that I won't be able to, that I'll fall. That's a valid fear, David replied. But we can face it together, one little piece at a time. Feeling a mix of hope and disbelief, Alex found himself grasping tightly to David's words. Could a therapist, someone he barely knew, really help him glide past the barriers of his mind? Okay, he said finally, a flicker of determination igniting deep within him. Let us try. David beamed, the kind of smile that felt like an affirming embrace. That's the spirit. I want you to breathe in deeply, Alex, and envision what freedom feels like. As he closed his eyes, Alex concentrated on the thrill he once felt from the wind rushing through his hair and the sound of his wheels spinning smoothly on asphalt. It became intoxicating. With each beat of his heart, hope surged within him. But adrenaline and fear danced in tandem, leaving him dizzy. Could he really allow himself to feel this again? As David continued to guide him, Alex felt like he was teetering on the edge of a precipice. Could he leap into this new world, trusting that there would be someone to catch him? With every pulse of encouragement from David, those questions loomed larger. Just as the image in his mind started to solidify, David shifted gears. Now let's talk about your support system. Who do you lean on? At that moment, Alex's heart swelled with gratitude for Maria and Emma. They were the pillars he couldn't forget. But then a thought nagged at him. Were they truly ready for the changes this journey might bring? The door to his past was now cracked open, revealing the light on the other side, but would he truly venture through? What if the trust he was beginning to build could lead him to not just ride again, but to reclaim his life completely? As these questions lingered in the air, the door creaked silently, echoing the unease of the new path Alex was stepping onto. Alex opened his eyes, taking in David's gentle nod, the reassurance wrapped in his calm demeanor. Even with the budding anticipation swirling inside him, doubt refused to stay silent. Maria and Emma, he finally said, the names spilling out as he thought of his mother and sister. They're my anchors. But he hesitated, clenching his fists. What if they don't understand this? David leaned back, studying Alex with intent. What do you think they might struggle with? What if they think it's pointless? That I should just accept things as they are? There was an edge to Alex's voice now, a tightness that revealed his inner turmoil. Have they ever made you feel that way? David asked softly. Alex glanced away, remembering conversations filled with concern but laced with frustration. They cared deeply, but they often searched for solutions he couldn't provide. I don't know. They just want the best for me. Exactly. And the best isn't always about conforming to expectations. It's about exploring all your options, your desires. He felt a flicker of hope mingling with fear again. David was right, but how could he truly share this journey with them, especially if they were resistant to change? Let us take a moment and picture a conversation, David suggested, inviting Alex to close his eyes once more. Imagine speaking with Maria and Emma about this. What would you want to share? With a deep breath, Alex envisioned himself sitting at the kitchen table, his family around him. He could almost hear Emma's warm laughter, the way Maria would take his hand, her eyes searching his, full of a protective love that sometimes felt suffocating. I tell them I want to ride again, that I miss it. The words felt like a weight lifted. I want to feel that joy again, just the wind and the thrill, the freedom. David's smile returned. And how do you think they would react? Maybe Emma would get excited. She loved biking with me when we were kids, he mused, a smile creeping across his face. But Maria? She might worry, tell me to be careful. Worry often comes from love. But if you share this with them, you give them a chance to support you in ways you might not expect. A warmth spread through Alex. The thought of truly communicating, not just to avoid discomfort but to allow his family in, what could that feel like? Was this the key to unlocking their support? I think I want to try, he said, the determination returning, this time stronger. Yes. And remember, it's not only about what they think but about how you show up for yourself in these conversations. David's voice was purposeful now, rich with conviction. Communication is a bridge, Alex. It can bring you closer, help them understand your needs, and embrace your journey. As Alex processed this, he felt an unfamiliar confidence bubbling within him. Was it really so simple? Could a conversation alone shape his experience? The seconds trickled by, each one sparking a new possibility in his mind. Now, let us take this feeling of excitement and envision how we can translate it into action, David encouraged. Meeting that excitement requires courage, and part of that is setting a timeline. Let us say, in a week, you sit down with them and share everything we've discussed today. A week? Alex blinked, the thought hitting him like a splash of cold water. What if I can't? What if I freeze up? Then remember, it's just a conversation. It doesn't have to be perfect, David replied, his tone soothing. The goal is to open the door and invite them in. You're not chasing perfection here. You're seeking connection. With every word, David was guiding him through the fog of uncertainty. A week was a reasonable timeline, but alongside the thrill of that thought came a swirl of anxiety. What if he stumbled? What if he hesitated? Can I really do this? Alex whispered, looking for assurance. The soft smile on David's face was disarming. Yes, you can. If you feel ready, remember, I'm here to support you. Just like them. Alex felt those words sink in deeply. Could it be so simple? The path ahead was still unknown and dim. Fears hovered like shadows. But within it all lay a flicker of possibility. What if this conversation could open a new world for him? As he pondered the journey ahead, his heart raced with excitement intertwined with uncertainty. Maybe, just maybe, he could finally step into the sunlight. He closed his eyes one last time, visualizing that ride, the wind whipping through his hair. Then he opened them, determination shining in his eyes. Let us make this happen. And in that moment, an unfamiliar sense of power surged within. But as it built, so did the questions. Was this truly the beginning, or just another step along a winding road? The answer lay waiting. What other surprises awaited Alex beyond that kitchen table? The week crawled by, each day mixing a blend of hope and fear in Alex's heart. He felt the excitement but also an undercurrent of dread. How could he open up to Maria and Emma without coming off as reckless or naive? On the morning of the planned conversation, the sun peeked through the kitchen window, casting a warm, inviting glow over the table. Alex sat there, tapping his fingers nervously on the polished wood. He could hear Maria bustling around, her usual morning ritual of brewing coffee and humming softly. Emma's laughter echoed down the hall as she scrolled through her phone, probably looking at silly memes. This was home. This was safety. But what if this safe space turned uncomfortable today? As the minutes ticked away, that familiar tightness settled in his chest. He remembered David's words about connection and clarity. The focus wasn't just on sharing what he wanted. It was about inviting them to understand him too. Maria walked in, her hair tied back neatly. She set down the coffee and smiled at Alex, her eyes crinkling with warmth. "Good morning, honey. You okay?" He returned the smile, but it felt strained, a tight mask over his racing heart. "Yeah, just thinking." Emma bounced in just then, bubbling with energy. "Hey, did you see the latest episode of that show we watch? What a twist." Alex found himself smiling genuinely for a moment, until the dread crept back. He needed to pivot the conversation but wasn't sure where to start. "Actually, guys, there is something important I want to talk about." His voice nearly faltered. He glanced at Maria, who was now looking at him with a mix of curiosity and concern. "Sure. What's on your mind?" she asked, encouraging him to continue. He hesitated, heart racing. "I want to ride again." The words escaped before he could stop them, a rush of vulnerability spilling into the air. For a moment, the room fell silent. Alex could see Emma's eyes widen, surprise mingling with unspoken worries, reflected on Maria's face. "Ride?" Emma asked cautiously. "Like a bike?" "Yeah." "I missed the thrill of it. The wind in my hair, the freedom." The words poured out of him, unabated. "It's not just a hobby. It's something I need to feel again. I want to try." Maria's expression tightened, her protective instincts kicking in. "Alex, it's been so long. Are you sure this is safe? What if Maria, please," he interjected, almost pleading. "I don't want to live in fear. I spent too long waiting, too long being cautious. I want to reclaim a part of myself." Emma leaned closer, her enthusiasm bubbling beneath the surface. "I remember. We used to have so much fun. But safety first. What does ride look like for you now?" That question opened the door wider. Alex took a deep breath, envisioning the bike, the fresh air, and the rush of adrenaline. "I want to get a hand cycle. It's designed for people like me. It's not dangerous the way you think. I just need your support to take this leap." Maria stared at him, trying to digest this new reality. "You really want this?" she murmured, her voice softer now, colors of determination peeking through her worry. "Yes, I do. I want you both in this with me." The atmosphere shifted, and Alex could sense the tension easing. It was as if the walls they had built up were beginning to crumble, opening the space between them. "Okay," Maria finally said, her voice trembling with emotion. "If you believe this is what you need, then I'll support you. But I need you to promise to take this seriously." "I promise," he whispered, the relief washing over him like a tide pulling back to show a brighter shore. In that moment, a new chapter opened. Maria's acceptance and Emma's excitement felt like stepping onto solid ground after a long time adrift. They were with him, their love wrapping around him like a warm blanket. Yet, as Alex's heart soared with newfound hope, another thought tugged at him. Would there be more setbacks? Would the world still pose challenges even with his family's support? He didn't have the answers, but for the first time, he felt willing to confront whatever came next. What other hurdles would this journey bring, and how would his family's support shape the path ahead? The sun was shining brightly the next morning, casting golden rays throughout the Munroe household. Alex sat at the kitchen table, savoring the hope that filled the air. Yesterday's conversation still resonated inside him. The uncertainty had finally given way to excitement. With Maria's support and Emma's enthusiasm, he felt lighter than he had in years. As he waited for breakfast, he found himself thinking about the bike, the freedom he yearned for. He could almost feel the cool breeze against his skin and the thrill of movement racing through his veins. Today, he and Maria had an appointment to look at hand cycles. The thought made his heart race. Maria entered, her cheeks flushed from the morning sun. "Good morning, Alex. Are you ready for today?" "More than ready," he replied, a bright smile sprawling across his face. "And I found a few places we can check out." Emma chimed in, bounding into the kitchen with enthusiasm. "I can't wait to see you ride again. We're going to have such a blast, just like old times." But then a flicker of doubt crossed Alex's mind. What if it didn't go as planned? What if he struggled? He tried to push the negativity aside and focus on the excitement bubbling inside him instead. They finished breakfast, laughter filling the air, but the weight of anticipation grew heavier as they prepared to leave. With Maria driving, Alex felt a knot of nerves tighten in his stomach, but he gripped the edges of his seat, reminding himself of their promise. This was about reclaiming his life. As they arrived at the bike shop, everything felt alive. The crisp air around the building and the colorful bikes on display ignited a fire within him. The shop echoed with laughter from customers, talk of adventures, and the click of gears, a symphony of freedom. David had believed in him. He wanted to feel that rush of empowerment again. Once inside, they were greeted by a cheerful attendant. "Welcome. What can I help you with today?" Alex took a deep breath, feeling Maria's hand on his back for encouragement. "I'm looking for a hand cycle," he said, confidence spilling into his voice. "Great choice," the attendant exclaimed. "We have several models you can test. Let us get you started." Alex's heart raced as they moved toward the hand cycles. Each bike was meticulously designed, gleaming under the bright lights. He could feel the anticipation bubbling, yet the small whispers of doubt lingered at the back of his mind. He pushed them aside as they fitted him with a helmet, the snug pull a comforting reminder he was about to embark on an adventure. "Let us take that one." Emma pointed excitedly to a sleek, azure bike. With Maria guiding him, he approached the hand cycle. As he settled into the seat, nerves shot through him, but with a quick glance at Maria, he felt that familiar warmth of encouragement. "Ready?" Emma asked, her voice bright and unwavering. "Yes," he replied, feeling his heart racing. They began to move forward, and as the first few strokes required significant effort, exhilaration coursed through Alex's veins. The tires glided smoothly, wind rushing past him, and with every push, it felt as though he was shedding years of doubt and fear. He could feel his muscles working. He was alive. Maria's cheers echoed in the distance, her voice a jubilant celebration of his every move. Emma joined in, her laughter ringing like music. This felt incredible. It wasn't just about riding a bike again. This was about reclaiming his life, about soaring through challenges and conquering fears. A few wobbly turns later, and Alex was rolling down the designated path, wind dancing around him as he picked up speed. Time seemed to slow, and joy surged inside him. For that moment, everything else faded away. It was just him, the bike, and a world waiting for him. "Look at you go," Maria shouted, her face lighting up with pride. "It's so freeing," Alex called back, filled with an overwhelming sense of joy. All the fears that had once held him captive felt distant, and instead, he embraced the thrill of speed, realizing he had finally surpassed the barriers. But soon, old doubts crept in again. What if he lost control? What if he couldn't keep up? Suddenly, panic snapped him back to reality, and his focus shifted. Just as he began to wobble, he felt a voice deep inside him call out, "Trust yourself." With newfound strength, he steadied himself, leaning into the turns just as David had taught him. The moment unfolded in slow motion. He recalled the words of encouragement, the time spent in therapy, the support of his family. It all flooded back, a tapestry woven together in resilience and strength. As he navigated the path, he could feel the warmth of the sun on his face, the exuberant laughter of his friends fading into the background, creating a safe cocoon of confidence. And then, a laugh erupted from him, pure and unfiltered. "I'm doing it," he shouted, filling the air with unbound joy. When the ride ended, he wheeled to a stop, heart pounding in exhilaration. Emma and Maria rushed towards him, their faces beaming with pride. "That was amazing. You were like a pro," Emma exclaimed, clapping her hands. Alex's heart swelled with overwhelming emotion. "I really did it," he breathed, and as their arms wrapped around him tightly, he knew it was only the beginning of many thrilling rides. In this moment of triumph, Alex realized everything had shifted. The man on the bike was different from the man who had entered this journey. He realized that life wasn't just about walking. It was about embracing every opportunity and turning fear into fuel. Standing surrounded by the love of his support system, he didn't just ride a bike that day. He soared. As they drove back home, hearts alight with joy, he grasped Maria's hand, feeling the steady pulse of their bond. Each day ahead held potential and excitement, a promise of a brighter, braver future. And so he smiled, knowing it all began with that leap of faith, and full of determination, Alex was ready to embrace whatever came next. Before you go, let me tell you this. You need to subscribe now to ensure you never miss out on amazing stories like Alex's transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the adventure alive. Comment below with your feelings about Alex's journey. How did it touch your heart? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support makes a world of difference.